Welcome everyone to this webinar, Cybersecurity Challenges and Opportunities. I welcome you to this webinar. My name is Mohammed Ali. I'm the Program Manager at the Professional Development Center, NUST. I'm joined by one of the two extreme panelists, Ammar Akhtar. Ammar Akhtar is an entrepreneur based in UAE since 2007, and he's the founder and CEO of FindRentals.com, which is the largest car rental marketplace in UAE. And he has won a Best Digital Business of the Year 2018 and nominated 5 Disruptor to watch out for in 2019, and also nominated as the Entrepreneur of the Year in 2019 by Entrepreneur Magazine. So welcome, Ammar. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Fauzia, I have joined also by Dr. Fauzia Idrees. Dr. Fauzia is an electrical engineer and electronics engineer with PhD in cybersecurity, and she's the first female PhD of Pakistan Armed Forces, and she has what 23 years of work experience in military, industry, and academia. Currently, she is working as the CEO of Cynosure Technologies. She is the recipient of so many awards. She is the one of the awards she has received is the prestigious UK Alumni Award. She's also recipient of Global Cybersecurity Advocate Award, and she has also received Women to Watch and Data Analytics Award from the Women in Analytics. And in Pakistan, she has received Fatma Jinnah and Shaheed Benazir Bhutto Award in recognition of her contributions by the UN Commission on the Status of Women. So welcome you both extreme panelists to join me on this webinar. Thank you for your time. I'll be asking you a few questions, but as you know, technology constantly teases us with so many new ideas, new product, and new ways of living. On our lives today are codified by data, and everything we do almost and everything we depend on involves data and technology. And I was reading 46% of the world population is connected to the internet alone. So what are the, when we say the internet and, that sort of stuff. So it comes into this digital economy that we're all talking about. But at the same time, it creates opportunities and challenges for the organization. To start with, just, there are so many people who would not be understanding this cybersecurity, although it's a very buzzword everyone is talking about. To start with, Dr. Fauzia, can you just elaborate in a very brief, what is cybersecurity and how it is relevant for a common person, common professional, common person in this digital world?
Thank you, Ali. And hello, everyone. Cybersecurity is actually the protection of computers, servers, mobile devices, electronic systems, networks, and data from malicious attacks. And the major elements of cybersecurity are application security, information security, network security, operational security, end user education, disaster recovery, and business continuity.
All right.
And
please continue.
so with digital technology penetrating into almost every aspect of our daily lives, data has become the new oil. Cyber criminals have found a new treasure box full of wealth of data. Even governments, militaries, and national security organizations are dependent on computers and networks. This dependency of nation states on the internet has urged the attention of a number of state and non-state actors to intervene and exploit the vulnerabilities of cyberspace. Additionally, the foundation of the digital economy relies on security and reliability. If people cannot trust on digital transactions, they will be left behind as the economy increasingly becomes digital in nature. Trust is the key enabler of the digital economy. So this implies strong cyber security, strong identity security, and a strong financial security in today's digital world.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Fauzia. So trust is the key enabler in digital economy. Ammar, keeping the trust element in mind, um, how would we're talking about the digital economy is taking over, especially this COVID time. So many things went online, the online shopping and everything. For a common person, how it is, what are the challenges that the world is facing at the moment in the field of cybersecurity? I'm not talking about the Pakistan or any specific country. The world is facing in terms of cybersecurity. What are the challenges?
So if you look at the time, let's say after COVID-19, and even in the middle of COVID-19, a lot of people have started using computers that they were not using before. So for example, even this webinar, it might have happened, let's say physically, now it's happening online. And
Yeah.
there are so many activities that I can tell you, maybe thousands of activities that were being done in a more traditional way. Now they're being done online, right? So the
Yes.
more connected you are, the more vulnerable you are, right? So basically all those people who had little or very less knowledge of computers and connectivity and apps, now they're using those apps. So they are exposed and they are also vulnerable. So I think the biggest challenge that we have, or let's say the world has at the moment, is to make sure that all the people who use these devices and applications now because of COVID understand what they have to allow or what they should not allow, what they can
All
share
right.
and what they cannot share, the permissions, all those things. And I think that's where awareness comes in the picture. So we should uh, do this campaign even internally, let's say in our home as well, and also in our companies, to make sure that people understand that this is something that it is in their hand when they download an app, what they can allow, what they should not allow. So I think all these things are down to the awareness. I think the biggest challenge right now is the basic awareness.
Is the basic awareness. All right. So how we can ensure this awareness, Dr. Fauzia? Awareness is the most important thing for us to remain, what to allow, what not to allow, what application to download, what not to download, or if an application is downloaded to the mobile, how to use it. So how can the person ensure any insight would you like to share on this?
Yeah, actually, it's not. I would say because I have worked on smart devices security. So with my experience, I would say, okay, it's not that easy to judge actually, because currently almost 100 million people, even the children, they have mobile phones, smartphones in their hands. You can't control them, and mostly the malware, the adware, they are so nasty. They are actually embedded in children's games, the video games. So you can't control your children at times, which games they are downloading, which games they are playing. You can't sit
All right.
with them all the time. But yes, for Android, it's always good to see the permissions, because whenever you download some apps, first of all, please don't download apps from third parties
Yeah.
places. It's good to always go for the official Google Play Store, although they do have some malicious applications, but still they have some safeguards. So first stage is don't go for third-party applications. And
Okay.
if you are downloading, then please do check the permissions, because permissions are actually everything. Permissions are the doors to enter into your devices. So if you are just allowing all entries to into your device, you are actually vulnerable. They can access your cameras, they can access your microphones, and they can even, you don't know, they can make your videos without, you are sitting at home, you are online, and they are watching you actually.
All right. So these the do not download apps from third party, but if you have to look for the permissions, check out the
Yes.
permission. Ammar, would you like to add anything to it?
I think the basic hack here is that like Fozia said, that these adwares, they're data hungry and they want our data to sell more ads to other people, or to build a lookalike audience. I think what we understand here is that when you download an application, right, and imagine that application is asking you to share your contacts or allow the application to access your contacts, right? But the application has nothing to do with the contacts. It is totally irrelevant, right? So do
Okay.
not allow anything irrelevant to the app that you think it's irrelevant. Please do not allow. I think that's that would be the basic level of, let's say, protection that you can start and go further. Of course, you cannot do that with children. It's very difficult, but with adults, you can at least tell I at least tell my friends that whenever you use any application, make sure that you give them relevant permissions. If an
All right.
application is asking for contacts and it has nothing to do with the contacts, then why it's asking the permission? So always deny that permission.
All right. Great. So moving forward, uh, Dr. Fauzia and Ammar, I just want to have this, the cybersecurity at a national and a global perspective, because this is a buzzword that we, hear on a very frequent basis, be it in a workplace, be it in a personal gatherings, and everyone is talking about it. I just want to have a perspective on this. Ammar is based in UAE and Dr. Fauzi is in Pakistan. So I just want to have these two perspective on it and how it is. Like Dr. Fauzi can share where we stand, what is the state of cybersecurity in Pakistan as a nation, where we are standing as compared to the global trends going on in the industry. And Ammar, if you can share the state of UAE or any other insight globally that you have, where they are standing and what activities or what precaution measures they are taking to secure their data of the state. Ji, Dr.
Okay, thank you. As far as Pakistan is concerned, Pakistan's cyberspace is struggling for many reasons because Pakistan is dependent on others for technology. According to leading global cybersecurity firms such as Symantec, Pakistan is among the 10 most targeted countries in the world. Main targets include Pakistan's nuclear and other critical installations, with publicly revealed assaults on media houses, communication networks, military, and key government departments, including transport and basic utilities. Such threats, for instance, were further confirmed by the Snowden WikiLeaks that had showed how the NSA was keeping an eye on Pakistan's civil and military leadership. Yet Pakistan has still not developed a cohesive cyber command or any national cyber policy to deal with the regional cyber threats being posed to Pakistan.
All right.
Even though Pakistan has recently established a national center for cybersecurity in their university to increase the number of indigenously trained cybersecurity professionals within the public sector, but it's still in its infancy stage. So, saying this, and we don't have even CERT in Pakistan, although we are working on IT policy formulation, cybersecurity policies, but right now it's not satisfactory.
All right. So, Ammar, what is happening in your part of the world?
So in UAE, we have this wave of e-government, and almost all the Emirates, they're having their own e-government departments, and they are quite active, in this, let's say, protection of the data of the users, right? So we have NISA standards. It's like a spin-off of GDPR, like we have in Europe, where when you are making an application and you're taking users' data, you have to follow certain guidelines, right? So all the applications that are being used here in the UAE, they have to follow GDPR plus the NISA standards. So of course, taking from the others, like like European Commission, and we are taking from them and we are implementing in the UAE. UAE itself is not actually building any, let's say, cyber security, I would say, regime, right? They are mostly working with with other countries, and now, as you know, that UAE is now has signed agreement with Israel that they will support Israel. So a lot of Israeli cybersecurity equipment is also now being is now under discussion, and they might implement those as well. So in terms of attacks, UAE is not as exposed as Pakistan, as Fauziya said. But in terms of expat data, I think UAE has done really well in terms of having the protection within the domestic, let's say, data barriers. I think it's doing quite good.
All right, great. So that was the perspective on Pakistan and UAE perspective. Participants who have joined here on Zoom, and those who are watching us on Facebook can ask question in chat and comments, and the panelists will be able to answer question as we conclude this discussion. We have only 10 minutes to go. You have any question? These are all the aspirants. I don't know how many are the experts from the participants. So if you have any question that you'd like from the participant, you can ask. Moving forward, we have spoken about the national level and the UAE is a global platform. Now I just want to have it look from the at the organizational level as well. Since you both are the the CEOs of your respective organization, running your own organization, and so you might be facing a lot of challenges as well. So what are the challenges that organizations are facing in the field of cybersecurity, and how they are coping up with cybersecurity challenges?
Shall I start?
Yeah, please, Dr. Fauzia.
Okay, right. If you are asking for Pakistan organizations, so, and again, if it's government sector or private sector, academia, it's really different levels and different state right now.
Right.
Being from military, I would say military is secure.
Yeah.
We are in a good position. And as far as I talk about like private or government sectors, private, you can see for in last 2 years, we have been attacked like our three telecom companies, big names, they were hacked. And on 7th September, KE is still they are under that ransomware attack, Karachi Electric. So organizations are really struggling because we don't have laws, we don't have regulations, we don't have anything like GDPR. And government and especially Ministry of ITT, I would say they should work and they should take it seriously because organizations right now we are not completely, we have not transformed to digital Pakistan and we have not uh, migrated our services towards digital platform. That's why we are a bit protected. The moment we'll go to complete digital, we will, I really, I can't even comment how much we will be vulnerable to the cyber attacks.
All right. Yes, Ammar.
So in terms of UAE, if you look at the government organizations and even big private groups, right? So they mostly use Microsoft-based technologies, and Microsoft is in here. So they have built their data centers, and everybody is almost facing the same, let's say, systems, and they have the same kind of structure in terms of their servers and networking. So in that case, it's a very small hub, small community, and the whole structure is copy pasted in different organizations. So in that case, I think in terms of security and in terms of domestic, like I said, data barriers, it's doing great in terms of But when it comes to startups, I would imagine startups in the UAE still need a lot, let's say, awareness, a lot of guidance, because they're using any tool, any CRM, anything to do their things. So I think that's where people like us come to picture, and we can tell them that this is the right perspective and this might secure your data, let's say, in future, right? But in terms of organizations, I think UAE has done well in terms of data protection. It's doing really well.
All right, great. Um, uh, I just move on to the a very important question that most of the participants are also asking, but I'll come to that in the later. But I have this question in mind that although cybersecurity is buzzword and everyone is talking about, but do we have any career path for this? Do we have, at the same time, although we have talked about the challenges and how vulnerable we are, but does it create any economic opportunities as well? Does it create any jobs and any sort of opportunity for the young generation that they are looking into it?
Yes, Ali. As technology continues to evolve, so do the opportunities and challenges it provides. Cybersecurity actually provides a lot of job opportunities, and because and it brings many opportunities for individuals, businesses, governments, and nations. As I mentioned earlier, data is new oil, and some cybersecurity experts they even say the data will be the king for next decade. So data will drive your economy actually, And from machine learning, AI to the Internet of Things, the accumulation and analysis of data from every aspect of our lives will drive entirely new insights and products. But all of these will also require strong cybersecurity as the fundamental building block. And regardless of the level of investment or development in technology businesses, we will need a vibrant cybersecurity sector to support innovation and guarantee the economic prosperity of technology initiatives. And as we move to world populated by internet connected devices, from your car to your fridge, your children's toys, and even the clothes you wear, this alone presents the tremendous opportunities for any country's ICT sector. But for any of this to be possible, the gadgets and the networks they communicate on must be secure. And this means cybersecurity will need to form the basis of almost everything in your life, and it will provide more and more job opportunities and business opportunities.
Great. So it will create more and more business opportunity in the years to come. Yes, Ammar, would you like to share any more insights here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you will see many jobs, coming up. Even still, we have so many job opportunities in the cybersecurity field, and considering Industry 4.0, where we have Internet of Things and everything is there. So when you have I in the IoT, the I needs security, right? So when the I is about the hardware, we need people who understand the hardware, who also understand the connectivity, with the software. So we need cybersecurity experts on many different levels. It's not, so for example, people who are also experts in, let's say, electronics, and talking and the marriage of the hardware and coupled with the software, right? So this field has many layers, and it's very, very interesting. There are certain, certifications, but it is also a very creative field. I find cybersecurity as a very creative art, more than a boring, engineering. I would say it's very creative because you have to find the intrusion, and you have to make sure that it doesn't happen again, and from where it came. So it's very interesting.
All right, great. So I'm entering into the Q&A part, and this is my first question from the panelists as well. If someone wants to pursue the career in the field of cybersecurity, do they have to have any certification for it, or do any training which can help them, get into this field?
Yes. Can I answer or
Yeah,
no?
please.
Okay. Actually, I would say with my personal experience, I worked in military and academia without any certificate, but I had qualifications. Like I did masters in information security and cryptology. Then I started working on cybersecurity.
Right.
And after working for 4 years in cybersecurity of military, I actually went for PhD again in cybersecurity. So now it's everything for me. But I would say certification really helps. If you have done bachelor's, especially in computer science or computer engineering, or you have any IT background, then I would suggest you must go for certifications. And again, with certification, I would say go for CISSP. CISSP is all in one. And then CH also helps if you are interested in ethical hacking, or and then there are some forensics and pen testing courses, or CISM.
All right. So if any training has been organized, for example, apart from that global certification that we have for, for the people to pursue, any certification that XYZ organization organize, which a person can attend, would that help as well, or would that not?
You mean the boot camps?
Yeah. I mean, for example, if NUST decide to have any training certification for the people who want to aspire, who aspire to have a career in cybersecurity, would that certificate help them, or would that not?
It will really help. It depends on who are your trainers, I would say.
Okay.
So always look for your trainers. If your trainers are well qualified and they are experienced, because it's not only qualification, experience too matters. So if they are experienced and well qualified, then those courses, those training sessions will really make a big difference,
All
and they
right.
will they will instill an interest for cybersecurity.
Absolutely. Yes, Ammar. I know you have been
Basically,
waiting to speak up.
there was there was a talk that I was going through, about cybersecurity.
Okay.
It's a TED talk. It's very interesting. So the guy says that you're actually doing cybersecurity also without knowing that you're doing it. So for example, if there's someone who is setting up your network, right,
Yes.
and with those network routers and all those switches, they're also doing some kind of security on that. That, for example, only people with the MAC address can join, others cannot, or maybe some kind of IP blocking, IP masking, or whatever they're doing. So basically, that is also a kind of cybersecurity. Then if you go to web application development, there you need a different kind of security. I see so many web developers having no knowledge of security. They're just building the application which is hackable, and any XYZ hacker can hack. So
Okay.
that no and all the frameworks, they come with their own security guidelines that one has to
Yes.
follow. I think that's where we as a nation, need to work on, especially with our developers, to understand that security is also the part of the project. We sometimes feel that it is secondary. Okay, we will talk about it later. You know, I think that's where we need to bring the security in, because with certification it will give you a perspective, maybe more technical perspective, right? But
All right.
security is also a mindset, and that mindset also has to be there.
Great. That's pretty much, yeah, I mean, the mindset that we need to change. Now coming back to the participant questions, we have one of the question is, most of the youth addicted to social media. What steps should be done to get out of this addiction? Do you have any advice on that?
Me or
Well,
Omar?
you can ban TikTok.
Any- that Omar can talk. Sure, Omar.
Okay.
Well, you can ban TikTok just like US did, and maybe that might help.
Okay. Okay. Now, on the serious note, one other question: any advice for us regarding cybersecurity as a profession in coming years, especially in Pakistan? Dr. Fauzi would like
Okay.
to.
If you allow me, I will just answer the social media question. Actually, social media is really a power, I would say. Don't, it's not addiction. Don't make it addiction, I would say. I have
Yeah.
never used TikTok and I don't know how to use it. But I do use Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. And I have limited or specific timing. So just control yourself
All right.
and look for time, but do use social media. It's so much learning, but whenever you are using, because when I see Pakistani audience on Twitter, they have really, they are not learning actually. They are not actually uh, using it positively, I would say.
All right. They are not using it. Social media is not
Really,
using it properly. All
it's
right.
such a power. It's such a big power if you use it positively.
Positively. Okay. So Bisma has the same question, that what how can a person get a proper career in cybersecurity in Pakistan? And I hope, do you have any further insight to share on that?
Yeah, sure. And if you have already computer background, then it's really very easy for you to just start career in cybersecurity. With programming and IT background, you will start some certifications, some trainings. If NUST or like organizations, platforms like NUST, they are offering, you must look for good trainers and go for those trainings and go for some certifications like CISSP. CISSP is actually the topmost certification because it covers almost every domain of network, computer, server, and everything. So it's actually my favorite certification.
All right. Since you're a PhD in this, obviously you have a topic. All right. We have one other question is that the programming, we have a programmer and someone who intend to venture on the journey of gaining knowledge in the field of IoT and machine learning. What would you advise me to, how should I start with cybersecurity in order to protect my program data that I acquired? Muhammad Abdullah. Ammar, would you like to answer?
Yeah, sure. So basically, it depends. If he's programming on the web, if it's a web-based framework, so all these framework, they come with their own, security guidelines, the session management, and the data management, and also encryption, level interfaces. Then, if it's a software, based programming like a desktop application, they have their own also security, architecture. I personally believe that the data or the leak happens on the database and the session level. When you have a weak, structure and you have not stopped those basic attacks like XSS attack, for example, or even SQL injection. I think that's the basic level of security you can give to your application. Talking
Right.
about the machine learning or AI, there are so many frameworks now. Google has its own framework called Tensor. So if you're using TensorFlow, when you're building your, web application, right, you can follow so many guidelines, which can make your application secure, plus also make decisions to make the attacks, let's say, happen as less as possible.
As less as possible. Absolutely. We have one other question. What are your views on the security as a service from Aisha?
Me?
Security. Yes, Dr. Fauzia, if you can answer.
Uh, it's my personal view. I think it's always good to have your, close to your location security. Security is a service, if you are talking about from cloud, I would say it depends on your organization's policy, on your role of your organization. If it's a military or sensitive organization, I would say don't go for security as a service. But it again depends on your role and task and policies. So if you are some academia and you are not, your data is not that sensitive, and you can go for security as a service. So it really depends on organization's role and policy.
All right. It really depends on the organization roles and policy. Ammar, would you like to add anything to it?
I think the most, interesting example of security as a service is the Google CAPTCHA. So, all these applications, they have the Google CAPTCHA, right? So it's a cloud-based security that it is giving you. But you might have seen so many banks, they don't use those CAPTCHAs. Why?
Yeah.
They use their own or maybe in keyboard or on-screen keyboard, input. Again, that's a great example, like Fauzia said, companies have their own policy.
Yes.
If they want to trust your, SaaS, like you said, security as a service, or they want to build their own. Again, but I think the scope is there because as you can see, Google CAPTCHA is there. There's so many other things also happening. Even after login, a lot of people are using, password complexity based cloud applications also. So
Yes.
it's a great field. Again, it's very immature, I would say. It's not mature enough.
It's not mature enough. With this note, I'll ask the last question. If a person has no background in computer science, can he or she pursue a field in cybersecurity or not?
Me or
Dr.
Kumar?
Yeah,
Me?
Dr. Fauzia.
Okay. Honestly speaking, I'm an electronics engineer. I'm not computer engineer. And I didn't have any background of computer engineering or computer science. Uh, I did C++ and Fortran and such languages, but I didn't have very strong computer or computing skills, I would say.
All right.
But yes, I worked in military, so we just got trainings and things like that. If you don't have computer degree, then even then you can start cybersecurity skills. You just need to learn Python and just scripting language. That's all I would say. It will
All right.
work for you, and just go for certifications and degrees. Degrees means most probably postgraduate, like masters in information security,
All right.
something like that.
So, Ji, with that, I think we're already overdue by 7 minutes. I just made another announcement that we at NUST are planning to have a 2-day course on cybersecurity in the next coming month, inshallah. Dr. Fauzia is one of the trainer for that course. And there will be some, guest speaker as well, like Ammar, who is based in UAE. And those who have joined, thank you so much for joining us on this short webinar. And those, if you are interested, let us know. We will share the detailed information with you, the course outline and all that information that you require. It will be soon available on our website as well. And let me thank the panelists who have taken the time out of their busy schedule. Dr. Fauzia, Ammar Akhtar from UAE. Thank you so much for joining us. It was such a pleasure having you with us on this short webinar. The insight that you shared, I'm sure it was very helpful. I'm receiving thumbs up from the participants. I'm sure it was helpful in any way possible. But in 30 minutes, we cannot help them get a master degree on this cybersecurity. But I think it was helpful to an extent that they can use it in their own setting. So for more a full-fledged course, if you are interested, if you are into the cybersecurity field, get in touch with us. We will let you know all the courses, and you can have the benefit from this course. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ammar, and thank you, Dr. Fauzia.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.